Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time stopping by, you're highly welcome as well. I'm sure you love this braid style on your screen, so stay tuned as I show you the step-by-step process with detailed explanation on how you too can achieve this for yourself. Okay, let's get started. So the style on your screen is called half up half down mermaid braids, or you can simply call it Fulani mermaid braids. And as you can see, I already started the back section with single braids, that is knotless braids, and I'll get to the front section soon enough. But before then, let me explain how I got here for a better understanding for those people who don't understand how Fulani braids are. Okay, so you make a straight line from ear to ear on the hair you're working on, either being your client's hair, your sister's hair, or a mannequin. Just make a straight line from ear to ear, not a straight line per se, more like a curved line starting off from the back of one ear to the other ear. That is how you get the back and the front section. Okay, the back section is for single braids, that is knotless braids, or if you want to do regular box braids, that's fine as well. And that is where I'm at right now on your screen. And the first section will be for cornrows. We'll get to that pretty soon, okay? But for now, let's just finish the knotless braid first, and then we'll get to the cornrows, okay? So because I promised that this video was going to be beginner friendly, and it is beginner friendly, I'm going to try and explain in detail step-by-step process on how you can achieve this whole style, starting from the knotless braids down to the cornrows. And I will advise you pay keen attention to whatever I'm doing on your screen, and also make sure you listen carefully to what I'm saying, because that is how you're going to catch the little gems here and there and tricks that I drop on this video. Okay, for example, if you see the way I'm tying this knot, it is not like the regular knot. And one more thing I want to mention as well is, if you look at the braid, the longest length of this braid started at the bottom. That is how you make your mermaid braids. It's supposed to be a step-by-step layer of braids. The longest length is supposed to be at the bottom, which is the your first row of cornrows. Your first row of knotless braids, sorry, is supposed to be longer. As you go, it becomes shorter. Hope that makes sense. Now to the knotless braid proper, I started by braiding about 4 times. I braided 1, 2, that is, I did mini braid 1, 2, 3, 4 with a natural hair before I started taking extension. And the extension I was taking was not that big. I started by taking little strands of extension, and then as I go, I increased the size. But at the same time as I was braiding, I tried my best to make sure that a natural hair is hidden inside the attachment, so that there will be no rough work. Hope that makes sense. Okay, you can go back and watch in slow motion. I was saying you braid 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start adding your extension. You add same size of extension twice, the small size of extension twice, and then you increase the size as you go. As you're increasing the size and adding more extension, try your best to hide your client's natural hair inside the attachment, okay, so that there will be no rough work. Hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, and then like I was explaining, the longest length of your braid should be at the bottom, not the top. Okay. Okay, now to the cornrows. The cornrows, I didn't want to use, the color of extension that she's using is not the same color as a natural hair. So I wanted a way that it could blend seamlessly into her hair or into the tip, because the tip of her hair is almost the same color with the extension color that we're using, but the roots are not. So I'll be using black extension for the cornrows, and then as I braid almost till when I'm going to finish the cornrow, I'll go in with the colored extension. Hope that makes sense. What a lot of people do is they will finish braiding the cornrow, and then when they transition into like trying to complete the single braids at the back, which is okay, for example, I'm going to show you now. If you watch closely, meaning this part that I've been braiding using the colored extension, a lot of people don't use, they will finish it with the black extension, and then where I'm at now, when I'm trying to braid for length now, they will start adding the colored extension. It does not have a fine finishing to it, and I think majority of them, if you look at them closely, there is a demarcation between the black and the colored extension that was used. So to make it blend seamlessly together, you start with the black extension for your cornrows, and then when you are almost done with the cornrow, you start adding the colored extension, so that there is a seamless blend to the finishing. Okay, so I'm going to let you watch for a bit so that you can understand what I'm saying. Let it sink in, and then I'll be back. Okay, hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. If you are, kindly give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and drop a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you've learned to this point that you're hearing my voice right now. And if you're not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe to the channel as well. Okay. And a tip I'll give is this. When you're doing cornrows, if you've been here for a long time, you know I always do this for my cornrows or feeding braids. You braid the natural hair for a bit before you start adding your extension. It's for two reasons. Braid the natural hair for a bit to prevent breakage, and at the same time to make it look seamless. You know, feeding is not like regular Ghana weaving. So it's supposed to look as if you did not add any extension. So what way to make it look more seamless is to start with the person's natural hair. That way the blend is even and seamless. Hope that makes sense. Okay, if that explanation doesn't make sense to you, I think this will. Imagine feeding braids as knotless braids. Feeding braids, you start with the natural hair first before you start adding your extension. Okay, and the idea of knotless braid is for it to look as if you braided just your natural hair, but there is extension added for width and length. Okay, width meaning for those people that their hair are thin, they want thickness, so they're adding extension. That is the same idea behind feeding braids. Okay, so you have to start with the person's natural hair first. You braid it for a bit, you cornrow it for a bit, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then you start adding tiny bits of the extension. Now, because we are using black extension first before adding the color of extension we're using for the main braids, I would advise you make sure the black extension is very, very short. You can cut it into I don't know how many you want to cut it into, but make sure it is very, very short so that it will not be difficult for you to tuck in as well. Okay, this hairstyle that I'm doing, the color of extension is a mixed. I think we mixed about 4 to 5 colors. I've even forgotten the colors of extension that was mixed together. So if the black was still inside, I think it was as if it was intentional, like part of the color that we mixed together. But for your own braids, if you want to do it, to make sure that the black extension you're using, it is very, very short, so that it will not give you a hard time trying to tuck it in. Okay, so that doesn't show on the braids. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So after I was done with the full cornrows, I think I've done this style before for French coils. So it's the same style and it's an easy style. It's not that difficult. Okay, so I trimmed the excess hair of the body of the braid, and then I went in with my brush to detangle the braids, because here on after or here onwards we are going to be making the mermaid braids itself. Okay, so you will take your flexi rods and then you start rolling the extension onto the rods. Okay, you roll it I don't know how best to explain this part, I'm sorry, so you have to watch it and see it for yourself. Okay, but remember that I said at the beginning of the video, or at some point in the video, that the braids at the bottom are supposed to be longest, like They are supposed to be longer than the braids at the top for mermaid braids. If you want a detailed mermaid braid tutorial, let me know in the comment section and I'll make sure to put that up for you guys. If you look closely, the braids at the bottom are longer than the braids at the top. That is how mermaid braids is supposed to look. That is how it is supposed to give that finishing look that will make it look as if you didn't braid the hair at all. That makes sense. It will look as if it's just coils all over. Okay, so now a tip I will give, or a trick that I use, is when I'm using a big size of flazy rod, I go in with like 2 strands of braids. Then if I am using a small size of flazy rod, I go in with like 4 or 3 strands of braid. That way, after dipping everything in hot water, the coils will still be the same sizes. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Now for the hot water part, make sure you're using a bowl and you're not using a full bucket. Use a bowl and dip it one after the other. Okay, don't rush this process. Remember, we are using hot water that has boiled, which is boiled hot water. Okay. So make sure you're very careful and you're taking your time. Go in one flazy rod at a time. Okay, do not rush this part. It won't be a nice sight at all for you to burn your client or burn yourself. So when you're done, you unravel the coils. Remember, after dipping it in hot water, after dipping the coils in hot water, allow it to set for a bit at maximum 1 to 3 minutes. Let it sit, let it stay in the flazy rod for that amount so that the hot water will set, okay, before you start unraveling. And when you are unraveling, kindly note that you have to trim off that end. I just did that right now. Trim off that end so that when you're detangling, it will not scatter. Okay? And for the detangling process, put a little bit of hair cream in your palms and then you detangle bit by bit. And that's it. Your hair should give you exactly what you're seeing on your screen. You see the way the coils are popping? It should give you exactly what you're seeing on your screen. And then for softness, for more flowiness, for the coils, use leave-in conditioner. I'm using the Mega Growth one, Mega Growth Daily Straightener. You can use whatever leave-in conditioner that you have, okay? And then just rub it on the coils. And that is all. That is all for this hairstyle. So I know a lot of you don't know how this styles is packed. That's why I added this clip for you guys. So that will be the end of this video. But before I go, I want to let you guys know that you can now join my community of braiders. On the community, you can tell me the styles you'd want me to make tutorials on. You can have a one-on-one with me. You will also have access to videos before it goes public and lots of benefits on there for you guys. So kindly join and support the channel, okay? Support the channel. And yeah, if you've not subscribed, kindly do. Turn on your post notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified when I drop other videos like this as well. Like this video and share with your loved ones. Bye.